loop, shoot me loop. I wanna shoot me loop, shoot me loop. I wanna. Whoa! Oh, hello. I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get a third season of home media reviews? I can't tell you who exactly, but it rhymes with Pullman's TWR Empire. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the third season of Home Media Reviews. I am your host, as always, Lego Lover 117, and today we kick things off with a bang with the original Deadpool from 2016. This season's been a long time in the making, I have to say. This was originally planned to start airing about 2 months ago, but I just kept getting new Thomas releases to cover on Thomas & Friends Home Media Reviews, and I really didn't want that show to just stop abruptly. I wanted to end it, naturally. So now here we are. July, we're here with Home Media Reviews Season 3. I apologize to all of you that are major fans of this show that I kept you waiting for so long, but here we are now. With all that being said, let's jump into the history section of Deadpool. So Deadpool is quite the interesting film. If you know anything about this movie, you would know the controversy surrounding it, or at least the controversy about getting this movie made. The film itself doesn't have a lot of controversy to it, but there's a lot of controversy about getting this made. Ryan Reynolds was, of course, first cast as the role of Wade Wilson in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where they infamously sewed his mouth shut. And that wasn't the worst part of that film, but it was definitely one of the worst parts of that movie. That is a god-awful travesty of a film. Then, in 2014, some test footage leaked of Ryan Reynolds doing some dialogue as the character of Deadpool. It was very rough animated footage, but everybody seemed to love it, and that finally convinced Fox to give this a green light. That's a very condensed version of the history behind this movie, but I don't want to bore you, because I'm sure all of you already know the history behind this movie and how it got made. If you don't, there are plenty of videos out there on this website to tell you about how this movie got made. Way better videos than I could ever make. We're just here talking about the home releases and the theatrical release of Deadpool, and the theatrical release was on February 12th, 2016. Valentine's Day weekend. This was shocking to me back in the day. A superhero movie coming out around Valentine's Day? That doesn't seem right. But I guess the precedent was set, though, because the original Daredevil came out around Valentine's Day in like 2003 or 4, whenever that movie came out. And so did the original Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. So why not throw Deadpool into that mix? And I, of course, being the Deadpool superfan that I am, was there opening weekend to see this movie in theaters. I, however, was not 17. I could not get in without my parents chaperoning me, I guess as you could say. I saw this movie in theaters with my dad, actually, and the strip club scene, I'm just going to say, was a little bit awkward. Neither of us looked toward each other's way. We just kept our eyes on the screen, because we didn't want to acknowledge what was happening to each other, but other than that, it was a fun theatrical viewing experience. I then saw it a second time in theaters with my cousin, who was about a year younger than me at the time, and we convinced our grandparents, actually, to take us to the theater. They didn't watch it with us, they just bought our tickets and we got in. They went to go see something else, but my cousin had a fun time with it as well. This movie then hit Blu-ray, DVD, and the relatively new format around this time, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on May 10th, 2016. There's actually a funny story that goes along with me trying to get this movie. I was still in high school at this point, and I didn't have a car. I couldn't drive myself yet. So I told my mom, hey mom, Deadpool's coming out on Blu-ray. I've got some money for it. I can give you cash. Can you go out and buy the movie for me? She says, all right, I'll go get it for you. She bought it from Meyer, surprisingly enough. You know what? And if you know things about Meyer, you know they put those dumb stickers on the slipcover that says, like, Meyer, and it says the price on it. I spent hours trying to scrape that stupid thing off. But hey, my mom came through for me. She got me the movie. Thanks, Mom. Of course, with this being a Fox production, there were a plethora of exclusives. A Best Buy exclusive steelbook was, of course, released with very simplistic artwork. Not a big fan of this steelbook. I've seen it in person. My feelings on it didn't change when I first saw it in person, so I don't have it. There was a Target exclusive set that came with a set of postcards. Kind of interesting there. I don't really know how postcards make a set all that great, but it's there. There was also a special vinyl set of the Deadpool film. I think it came with the soundtrack on a big vinyl record, because vinyl was making its comeback in these days. Our next Blu-ray release is one you might not have heard of because it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. This came out on July 20th, 2016. It includes a special slipcover with the character of Deadpool on the front of it, and it has 3 emojis spelling out the title. It has the skull and crossbones, the poop emoji, and L. Deadpool. Get it? It's funny. As I said, this one is super rare, very hard to find. I think the slipcover is the only exclusive thing about it. Maybe it has the artwork printed on the actual art on the inside of the slipcover. I'm not sure though, but it's very rare. I only know of one person that has it. Then on November 6th, 2016, a holiday version of Deadpool came out on Blu-ray and I think DVD as well. Don't quote me on that though. I know Blu-ray for sure, because I saw this one in stores and I was like, hey, that's a cool slipcover. Not gonna buy it though. It looks cool, but I don't need it. We then had to wait until October 3rd, 2017 for another chance to buy this movie on physical media. The original Best Buy Steelbook was re-released with a Holiday J card slapped on the back of it, and also a version with the 4K disc came out around this time with the Holiday J card. This next one is interesting. I labeled this one in my notes as horse 80s style slipcover because that's what I saw. It might be a unicorn. I'm not really sure. Deadpool does like unicorns, but I called it the horse 80s style slipcover that came out on February 1st, 2018. This was a Blu-ray and a DVD release. And because Deadpool is very funny and very meta, there was a 2-year anniversary Blu-ray digipack that came out on April 24th, 2018. This was, of course, to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of Deadpool coming out in theaters, and it included a lot of little extras in there. I debated on picking this one up for a while. I never got a chance to get it, though. Also, on April 24th, 2018, a new 4K steelbook with brand new artwork also released on this day, and I like this artwork way more than the OG release. This artwork is really cool. Our Horse 80s style slipcover makes a return on May 15th, 2018. This one is a 4K release and was exclusive to Walmart. And finally, to round things out, on August 21st, 2018, we got the Deadpool 2 movie collection. We got a 4K version and a Blu-ray version. This includes Deadpool and Deadpool 2, and it is so humorously called the Complete Collection, ... for now. And so far, according to Blu-ray.com, that is it. I will go ahead and note, though, that for a short period in around 2019-2020 time period, you could find the OG Steelbook Blu-ray version of Deadpool in Walmarts, of all places. My Walmart has since gotten rid of their Steelbook section. It sucks because it was cool to see them, and it was like, hey, we got a chance to get new Steelbooks that are like old stock from other places that have just been sitting in warehouses, but unfortunately mine has since gotten rid of that section. So with the history section all wrapped up, let's move right along to the close-up section. Maximum effort! Alrighty everyone, here's your close-up look at the first Deadpool. We only have one copy here to look at. This is the standard Blu-ray version that was available back in 2016. Up here at the top we have Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital HD. The title, Deadpool there on the front, and it's just a big close-up shot of the Deadpool mask, but it is embossed. So, for instance, it feels like that's an eye. You know, it's just slightly raised up. You can feel his nose there, and the part that's red has a weird kind of like texture to it. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's a different texture than just being a smooth slipcover. The spine, 20th Century Fox, well, that's no longer a thing. Deadpool on the side, and then there's the title character himself laying on the bearskin rug, or at least in this case, he's laying on the side of the slipcover. Blu-ray disc logo and DVD logo. The back is really cool because it's staged like a comic book. You've got a description about the movie itself. I give it 4 Golden Girls. It's the best picture of the year, and that's from Betty White. Maybe that's real? Probably not. And then here is Deadpool telling you about his movie. Got, used to be super hot. This is my super hot girlfriend just before she touched my naughty bits. Hello there, let me tell you a little bit about myself. He's an excellent driver. This is Francis. I'd really like to kill him. Just little fun little touches like that make this Blu-ray just that much more personal. And then here is your bonus content labeled under Nerd Alert because only nerds care about bonus content. Here's a little thing about your digital copy code. Legalese down there at the bottom along with your rating. If we take the slipcover off, it's the same artwork underneath, same spine artwork. The back has been changed significantly to accommodate for cast and crew and technical specifications there, but the Nerd Alert and such, the bonus features are still the same, except now you've got a Disc 1 Blu-ray label and a Disc 2 DVD label there. Pretty sure blurb is the same and all of that. If we open this up, now here is your discs. So you've got your DVD over here with Deadpool just giving a thumbs up. The Blu-ray has a much more simplistic artwork with just the Deadpool logo. Now, I usually don't do this, but for this release, I've got to pull out the digital download copy code slip because there's something on it that's just hilarious. So let me go find that real quick. Okay, in a shocking turn of events, going through all of my digital download copy code slips that I still have, I can't find the one for Deadpool. So I'm going to have to describe what it is. So the actual code itself is normal. Like on one side of the slip, you have the regular code, and then on the other side, there's a diagram for how to check yourself for testicular cancer. That's not a joke. I swear that's what's on the other side of the digital download copy code. I wish I could find it. That pretty much wraps up the close-up section here. We're going to go ahead and transition into the menu tour. As always, we'll start with the DVD. Alright everyone, here we are for a menu tour of Deadpool. We've got the DVD in the player right now. And I just want to go ahead and say this before we get started. Fox or Disney or whoever owns the copyright to this movie now, since Fox is owned by Disney, don't ding me for copyright. There is no audio in this video. This is for educational purposes. Don't ding me for this. This is not copyright infringement. I only say that because I recently got dinged for my RoboCop HMR back in, 2018, 19 now? And that was because I showed footage during the menu tour. So if I get dinged for this, you won't be seeing any of this. There'll be like a black bar or something on top of it because copyright still sucks for YouTube nowadays. But as you can see, our menu is pretty standard across all Fox releases. You've got clips from the film playing in the background, as well as your options listed down here at the bottom. We have play, setup, scenes, and extras. Let's see what's in setup. For audio, we have English Dolby Digital. That's a 5.1 mix. Also a descriptive audio track for the blind. That's also in 5.1. We have Spanish surround sound in 2.0 and French surround in 2.0. And for subtitles, English, Spanish, and French. Pretty substandard there. You can also resume the film from this menu. And there's Deadpool's Crocs in the background there. Scenes are interesting. We have 28 of them, and they each have a little screenshot from the film. They're not labeled, but that's okay. The background is, of course, Deadpool's apartment, and a pretty good amount of scenes for a film that reaches, 100 minutes, I think is how long this movie is. It's barely over 90. And for extras, there's probably not much here. We've got our gag reel, Deadpool's fun sack, and a sneak peek. What's this sneak peek of? Let's find out. we have a secondary menu for sneak peeks. We can get a sneak peek at X-Men Apocalypse, which was also coming out around this time this Blu-ray released, and Discover Digital HD, which I assume is an older ad telling you all about the glorious nature of putting your movies onto the cloud, basically, or a digital movie retailer like Vudu. Alright, so since we're done with the DVD, it makes sense to move on to the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray menu is already better than the DVDs because we have this scene of Deadpool microwaving a chimichanga. I think it's going to switch, though. There we go, it's fading to black. And here's our roll of clips. It's the same roll of clips that we saw on the DVD, even in the same order and such, just in a higher quality. Same options as on the DVD, and for audio we have a 7.1 mix of English, same 5.1 descriptive mix, a Spanish 5.1 mix, and a French 5.1 mix, and also the commentary by Wade Deadpool, producer Ryan Reynolds, and screenwriters Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. And also we have a secondary commentary track with director Tim Miller and Rob Liefeld, the co-creator of Deadpool. So that's cool. We didn't have any commentaries on the DVD. Cool to see them here. We have English for subtitles, Spanish, and French. I guess you can read the commentary on your screen instead of listening to it. That's in English. And then we also have a Spanish translation of this commentary by Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, and Paul Wernick. And we also have is that French? I think that's French commentary. And look at that. You can also read the commentary from Tim Miller and Rob Liefeld, and I assume, yes, we have a Spanish translation of that and a French translation of that. So that's a lot, actually. And it is, of course, displayed in this little timeline feature with these little diamonds telling you where you are in the film. Let's see if we have the same amount of scenes as on the DVD. Missed it, we do. And I was right, this film barely goes over 90 minutes. It's like 18 minutes longer than 90. And then bookmarks, I don't know what bookmarks do. I guess you can place a bookmark for your favorite moment in the film and go back to it later. I've never figured out how that works. For extras, we have a ton more than on our DVD. We have deleted and extended scenes, a gag reel, from comics to screen. Get it? Because he was already in a film previous to this. Audio commentaries, once again, you can select them from there. A gallery, Deadpool's fun sack, and sneak peeks. Now, I'm guessing these sneak peeks are the same as on the DVD. Yes, they are. X-Men Apocalypse and Discover Digital HD. And for deleted and extended scenes, we have Prison, The Raft, Cancer World Tour, Extended Freeway Fight Scene, Extended Workshop Fight, The Morgue, 5-year montage, Number 5 Bathroom, Extended Angel NTW Fight, Extended Rubble Pile, Gratuitous Worth It, Alt Coda, and then you can select a optional commentary track from director Tim Miller. So that is cool. Really only one featurette per se, and that's this From Comics to Screen little thing here. Well, I guess you also get the fun sack, which I don't really know what that is. I guess that also includes a bunch of featurettes. So that wraps things up for the menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. All right, so we've returned from the close-up, and now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Deadpool is surprisingly still on store shelves. I have seen it at places like Target and Best Buy. I've not seen it at Walmart, but Target and Best Buy, you can still find it on store shelves there. And of course, it's always in stock on places like Amazon and eBay and all that. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? I'm gonna say no to this one, even though I'm about 120% confident that the second this HMR goes live, Fox is going to, announce some super duper super Deadpool collector's set that's immediately going to date this video. Or I guess it's not Fox anymore, it's Disney, because Fox is now under the ownership of Disney. Although I think Fox is still, it's like its own asset, sort of. I don't really know how company mergers work, okay? I'm going to admit that. I'm not a scientist, I just play one on TV. So I'm going to say no to this one, even though I know that if it's not going to be immediately when this video goes live, it's going to be pretty soon after, because that always happens to me. Number 3, where should you pick this product up? Here's a portion of the video that will not be dated in a couple of months, because my opinion on Deadpool is likely never going to change. I very much enjoy this movie. This film is something that I have strong memories with, I have strong nostalgic ties with, but that doesn't blind me from the fact that, yes, it's a very simple film when you boil it down to its main plot points, but man, there is a lot of fun to be had. Ryan Reynolds was the absolute perfect choice to play the character of Deadpool. He's a great shit talker, is how I've heard it described by some other YouTube movie pundits out there. He's great at that. He's got a fast mouth, and he's able to shoot off as many insults as well as bullets. He's great not only as Deadpool, but also Wade Wilson. You could also make the argument that those two characters are the same, but he's great in both of those roles. I totally see him as Deadpool now in any other film that I've watched him in. Except for Green Lantern, because I was wanting to claw my eyes out during that one. But in every other film I've seen him in, he's literally just Deadpool. Not like in Blade Trinity, where he was literally just playing a Deadpool-type character, but it wasn't Deadpool, it was like Hannibal King or something. But like other movies where he's supposed to be like a totally different character, he just seems like Deadpool to me. That's how synonymous he is with this role. And his co-stars, also really great in this movie. Marina Baccarin, I think this is the first movie I ever saw her in. She's great here. She's actually able to keep up with Reynolds' fast, witty dialogue, and it's great to watch those two together. Their love story as it blossoms throughout this movie is so cool to watch, and they both have great chemistry with one another. And you can't say that the marketing campaign for this movie lied. When this marketing campaign said that this was a love story, I thought, oh yeah, bullshit, this is a love story. I walked out of the theater and I was like, shoot, this is a fucking love story. And it's really well written. It's probably one of the best love stories I've seen ever written on screen. It is honestly very, very compelling because you care about both of these main characters. You want to see them together. And the two X-Men characters that are thrown in here as a foil for Wade Wilson to interact with are Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I love the actor who voices Colossus. I can't remember what his name is, but he does a great job at his Russian accent. I love that Colossus is Russian. That was probably one of my favorite parts about when this movie was announced, that they were going to make Colossus his actual Russian version, and he's actually big, like he is in the comics. He's in a fairly comic-accurate outfit, too. It looks really good. His CG is a bit eh. This movie was filmed and shot on a kind of a smaller budget, so I can forgive the kind of poor CGI for Colossus, but he looks really good. Kind of wish I would have got to see him transform, though, when the metal, transforms over his body, like it does in, I think he's in X2 and X3. How it happens there, I kind of wish I would have got to see that on screen. But for what we got, Colossus was great. And I had no idea Negasonic Teenage Warhead was even a character, but that's the... I had the same reaction as Deadpool did. Negasonic Teenage, what the shit? That's the coolest name ever! And I think the actress's name is Brianna Hildebrand. She does a great job as this angsty teen, because that's exactly how I was when I watched this movie. An angsty teen who just wanted to see the world burn. She's the exact same. I love her comic accurate costume too. I'm not sure if it's her costume, but it is a costume accurate to what the X-Men wore at one point. So I love our main cast. What about our villain? Ed Skrein as Ajax. But as Deadpool tells us, his name's actually Francis. He got Ajax from a dish soap. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to call him Francis because that is hilarious to me. Ed Skrein is a poor villain. He's very weak, but he is very funny. He's pretty much there to be Deadpool's punching bag throughout the majority of the film. He's the butt of most of Deadpool's jokes because he thinks his name is stupid. And it's very lowbrow humor, I'll give it that. Not very smart or anything close to it, but it's very funny. I like a well-written comedy. I enjoy RoboCop because of its very dark, humorous elements. I like a smartly written comedy, but I can also get down for something really dumb, like this movie. It doesn't have very well-written jokes, but man, some things are never not funny, as my father always says. I'm sorry, but when Deadpool pulls his hand behind him and smacks Colossus's crotch, feels around, and then goes, "Dad?" You guys ever seen 127 Hours? Spoiler alert. Oh yeah, there's the money shot. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Sorry about bleeding in all of your garbage. Whew, what a day, especially when your day ends with the wrong guy getting dismembered. That said, when it comes time to licking wounds, there's no place like home. And I share that home with someone you've met. The weird blind lady from the laundromat. God, I miss cocaine. Her. Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. Okay, I promised myself I wasn't just going to let this review turn into a quoting fest, but I couldn't help it. I started, I kept going, I couldn't stop myself. I'm sorry. I just really like the dialogue in this movie. It's very... I know I just said that the jokes were stupid, but a lot of the dialogue in this movie where characters are quipping at one another is actually written fairly well. It's mostly the dick jokes that are not really written all that well. They're lowbrow, it's low-hanging fruit, but it is hilarious when it's actually in the movie. I did mention earlier, though, that this movie is very thin in terms of plot. And it is. There is basically two action sequences throughout this entire film. There's the highway action sequence, which we spend the majority of the film at, and then the climax on the not SHIELD helicarrier. Even though it's totally a SHIELD helicarrier, and nobody on the Deadpool team will admit that it's a SHIELD helicarrier, but it's totally a SHIELD helicarrier. This is not a plot-driven movie, and it doesn't have to be. I'm fine with it not being plot-driven. I enjoy it for the most part because of the characters and the dialogue that's in it. I don't care about the story all that much. The story is just there as a purpose for these characters to be in my life, basically. And yes, the story is paper thin, but when you have great performances and great dialogue and pretty funny jokes, the story kind of takes a backseat to all of that. Everything comes together to make a very compelling movie. If you look at each thing just by itself, the movie doesn't work overall because you're not judging every little thing that then comes together to make the movie great. If you just say, well, the story in Deadpool was bad, so the entire thing is bad. Well, no, you're not looking at every little piece that comes together to make it good. And I can't get over how actually compelling the love story is in this movie. It doesn't lie to you when it tells you it's a love story. It truly is. I remember I was listening to Now Playing Podcast, which is a podcast that I listen to borderline religiously. I love that show so much. The three hosts on there were Arnie, Stewart, and Jacob. They do the Marvel Comics retrospective series. And Jacob was talking about when he went to take his wife to see this movie, because they were reviewing it weekend of release. And he said during the climax, he looks over at his wife and she's sobbing, and he asks her, "What's wrong?" And she says, "She accepted him even though he was ugly," referring to the scene at the very end where Deadpool takes the Hugh Jackman stapled mask off and Vanessa still accepts him for who he is and still loves him, even though objectively he looks like an avocado had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado, as TJ Miller says. And that's actually a pretty good message to have for a film like this one. I can't believe I'm saying Deadpool has a good message, but it does. You can accept somebody even if by conventional beauty standards they're not beautiful or they're not handsome. I don't know how Hope looks at me and thinks, you're pretty cute. I look at her and yes, she's drop dead gorgeous. I mean, she's like my Vanessa. I think she's beautiful. I don't know how she looks at me and says, "Oh, you're the guy for me." Like, I don't think I'm that attractive, but she does. Where was I going with that scenario? I don't know. Hope, if you're watching this, I just complimented you. Love you. But it's a really good message to give to a relatively young adult audience. You can accept somebody even if they're not attractive by societal standards. As long as you see something in that person, it is totally okay. So if it wasn't obvious, yes, I'm going to recommend Deadpool. This is probably in my top 20 films of all time. Not my top 10. It's not a groundbreaking film for me. It didn't make me into the person I am today. But it is an extremely funny and hilarious movie. And I think everybody out there who hasn't seen it should definitely watch it. Especially for the love story aspect and the characters that are involved in it. And hey, if you like jokes, there's plenty of them here. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Let's see if you can find it in stores. That'd be pretty cool, but for the cheapest price, you're definitely going to want to look online. And number 5, what price should you pay? Good question. The 4K is the one that's like kind of hard for me to gauge because I haven't seen the 4K a lot on store shelves since it first released. So I'd say the 4K is worth probably around, I don't know, 20, 25 probably is what I think you should pay for it. The Blu-ray is extremely common. I mean, I've seen that at every Black Friday since the movie came out. So definitely don't pay more than like 10, 15 for that. And then, you know, I don't like DVDs. 5, maybe 10 if you're feeling lucky. All right, so guys, that is it. That is the HMR on Deadpool, and that is our season premiere for HMR Season 3. Guys, can you believe we've been doing this for 3 years? I can't believe that. I started this show at the end of my high school career. 3 years ago was when I started doing this show over Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews, when that show finally bit the dust. I mean, wow, that's so crazy that we're back for Season 3. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if this show would last past Season 1, but it got so much love and support, and so many of you love it. I thought, hey, why not? I like it too. I'm going to keep making it. If you know anything about me, though, you know I'm a completionist, so next week, there was no way I was going to get away with not talking about Deadpool 2 next week. Deadpool 2 is quite the interesting sequel. I had quite an interesting reaction to it out of the theater first time watching it, but over the years, I've warmed up to it quite a bit. Does that mean I had a negative reaction when I walked out of the theater for this movie? Or for Deadpool 2, I should say? We'll have to find out next week when I talk about it. Thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Home Media Reviews. I will see you all next week for Deadpool 2. Good night, everybody. Oh, you're still here. It's over. Go home. Go on, go. Why'd you pick up your popcorn? Huh? Spilled your soda in the seat over there. It's disgusting. Don't do that. Go on, go. Chick.